Hi, everybody, and welcome to Rainshadow Living, your guide to Port Townsend, Sequim, and beyond. I'm Ginny Erickson, and we have a really exciting show for you today.
And I'm Trish Cole. And welcome today because we have from Port Angeles, Steve Raider-Ginsburg, who is the executive and artistic director. He wears two hats for fantastic field events and arts hall in downtown Port Angeles with a breathtaking view of the waterfront. So welcome.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be on Rainshadow Living. Thanks for asking me to be on.
So, what can you tell us about the Field Arts and Events Center? Wait a minute, I got it wrong. It's Field Hall and Events?
Well,
No.
we call it Field Hall as a short name, but the full name is Field Arts and Events Hall. I want to share that we are, a fairly new organization in the area. It's a 500-seat theater that opened in 2023. And we opened really in June was when we got things going. We had our grand opening in July of 2023. And here we are in October of 2025. So it's just a little over 2 years. We're entering our third official season. And we've been able to bring some really big name international performers. We had Macy Gray in our first season, Vienna Boys Choir. For dance, we're bringing in a nationally famous group called Momix this spring. We have blues, rock, R&B, jazz. We also have community events, movies, and theater shows. So you can really be on your toes and find whatever you're looking for. And we also have a cafe. We have an event space where there's conferences. We just last week had the National Theater Project here. So it was 22 different theater companies, all from as far away as Guam and Miami to as close as San Francisco. So wow. It was a pretty exciting week of theater makers in town. I'd say for area folks or anybody in the region, you can get out to our website and sign in and get on our mailing list and learn about things that are happening. So we're coming up on Halloween. So tonight is, which all your listeners will miss because this is not going to go out today, but we're partnering with the Story People of Clallam County. And we are doing the Lost Hearts and Other Creepy Stories by a professional storyteller who's going to get up. So we do a number of events in partnership with community members. So Story People of Clallam County, we have 3 performances that we do annually with them. Always a Halloween show, always a St. Patrick's Day, Irish Tales kind of show. And then the third is called the Liars Contest. And that is local people who tell lies and they give out a prize for the best liar. And it's really, really funny. It's a good one. That's generally in June when that one happens. You can join the mailing list or look on the website. We also have these print programs that we put a lot of work into. So you can see calendars of events. So if you stop by or if you call us, we'll send you one of these. But they've got all the months and everything that we have. We do things from dinner theater in our what we call affectionately the Sunset Lounge on the second floor has an amazing view of the Strait of Juan de Fuca. And we opened this season with an incredible pianist named Charlie Albright. And we're going to have him back every year because he lives in Seattle. He plays contemporary classical music. He's a virtuoso, audience favorite. But we've brought in things like the Banff Film Festival, which is a celebrated international adventure film festival, the Masters of Hawaiian Music that include George Kahamuko and Daniel Ho and Tia Carrere. It just keeps going on and on. So there's basically never a week where there's something not happening and you can come and see fantastic stuff. Annual things that we do, like we work with National Geographic and we get some of their explorers to come on stage. This year, we have explorers talking about finding pirate treasure and how scientists and archaeologists and go out there and they find pirates' treasure. Another one is exploring caving. And then everybody wonders who's the photographer and how do they get these amazing pictures? So there is a photographer coming to show us the work that they do. And the other couple more things I'll share that we're really leaning into this year is we're looking at our relationship with the Pacific and the Pacific Rim. So we invited a dance company from Taiwan. They're called Hung Dance and have this internationally famous piece called Birdie that is just one of the world's greatest dance companies out there now. We built a jazz club, so to rival things like Triple Door and Jazz Alley in Seattle, we have something
Wow.
called the Thompson Club, and we're also part of the Seattle Comedy Competition Tour now. So there is a winner every year of the Seattle Comedy Competition, and they get out there and they perform really cool sets of comedy, and then the winner claims the title of the year. And so now we're on the circuit for that and part of the elimination of the best comics in the area.
So do you have a philosophy behind the acts you choose, or is there a driving mission behind the acts you choose? How do you know what to fill the calendar with?
Yeah, I we do. What I look for is generally I think of things as in terms of threes. So say for country music, we know we live in a it's not a highly populated area, but it's a very diverse area. So we have people who are really into country music. Some people are into, magic, ventriloquism, or bluegrass, or rock, or jam band, or classical. So I really try to create something for every taste and audience, family, kids, circus. And I say, well, let's not just do one, but let's do three so we can spread it out throughout the year. So in 12 months, I'm looking at, three acts that somebody who loves the blues would be into, three acts somebody who likes old timey bluegrass would be into, three acts that are dance. And then within those three, I look at some diversity within that. So say ballet and contemporary dance, and you'll see things in between.
You have an acrobatics coming up as well. I saw on your calendar. That looked really exciting to me. So it seems like there's a lot of diversity. But what inspired the vision behind creating a space like this in Port Angeles? I mean, did two people come together and say, we have to have this in our little neck of the woods?
Yeah, it's a really inspiring story. A woman named Donna M. Morris, who lived in Sequim and was very active in the area in terms of going to see performances. She wrote this into her will, so she has never seen Field Hall, but in her imagination she did. And like so many people who moved to this area, she moved up from Southern California and just was so taken by the grandeur of the area and also the quality of artists and people that live here. So with her, we'll say, dying wish in her will, she left 80% of her estate, which was worth a little over $9 million. And it was a restricted gift towards being used to build a new world-class performing arts center. And she really wrote that because of other arts organizations being so inspiring and being so highly talented, she wanted a home that could really not only house and be available for the local arts groups, but also to bring in internationally and nationally top level artists and a place where they would be. So last spring, Cowboy Junkies came here, and they've been around and pretty popular since the 80s. And they said, wow, we didn't even know that land was out here. We thought the Pacific Ocean was out here. So so they traveled out to the Rainshadow area. They were here in Port Angeles. And then they said, this is one of the best theaters we've ever played in our entire career, and we would come out here anytime again. And that, hearing that from very seasoned travelers who play a particular kind of music that needs a good listening hall with excellent acoustics, that was just, it really brought it home for me that we're achieving Donna Morris's vision of building a world-class performing arts center that can accomplish supporting our local with the best quality, as well as having no fear with bringing in top level international acts.
What acts have you most excited right now?
I get excited about something all that comes up around the corner all the time. We're doing a lot of physical theater and circus coming up in the winter and spring. So some of that is like Cirque Mechanics show Tilt. This circus company kind of created a play based on our memory and nostalgia of big circus acts and those sort of like, the trampoline and the acrobatics and even kind of inspired by roller coaster rides. And so they created a show for the stage. And then we have another show called 360 All Stars. They bring on BMX bikes and skateboards, and they're showing on stage kind of the athleticism and the dynamics, and that's kind of done in a Cirque type of style. And we're even looking at trying to bring a big top tent into town.
Wow, that would be
other,
fun.
other things are Pink Martini is coming. We have a really hilarious magician who's known, and his name is Michael Carbonaro. People know him from his TV show called The Carbonaro Effect. So he blends humor and magic. Paula Poundstone's coming back. We have a dance company called Momix bringing Alice, which is based on Alice in Wonderland. And it's really a magical visual feast of feats that they're able to do that just look impossible because Alice in Wonderland is a bit of an impossible story. So how do you recreate that for stage? And it really blow us away by the visuals. We have Devin Allman and the Blues Summit coming. And Devin Allman, of course, played with the Allman Brothers. He is the child of Greg Allman and got brought up in that family and musical tradition. And so that's a long answer to say I'm excited about so much stuff that we're bringing here.
Right.
I kind of, we hit for those of us that get to work here and see all this stuff, hit the jackpot because it is such a great theater and exciting things coming through all the time.
So you mentioned the main theater, and then there's also Gathering Place, I believe you said, and I think there's a coffee shop as well with the view of the strait. Can you kind of walk us through what it would look like to go to what's available rooms?
Yeah, we can walk and talk. First, I'm leaving my office, so it brings us backstage. I know some people are just listening to this and some folks of you are watching it, but I'll give you an audio narration of what we're going by. But as we go through backstage, we have the entrance to the green room where the artists are. We have a poster wall of every performance that's come in with this artists who've signed their posters. And it's just
really cool.
Impressive. Yeah. It keeps going on and on for all these shows in the past. And then as we get past this backstage, we can see we have quite a bit of audio storage and a big loading dock so that when large shows come in and they have things that need to get on stage, they go through this door that goes to the outside. And then the biggest doors on the peninsula are right there. And for those of you who can't see, it's just these massive, 20-foot tall by 6-foot wide, 2 double doors leading onto the stage. We're outfitted with, this is another signing wall where artists just write what they want on the wall. But we come into, we have 4 dressing rooms. 2 are 22-person choral dressing rooms. And this means that, orchestras can come in here and get themselves ready, big, large choirs. And then we have a couple of small, more intimate dressing rooms. We'll take you into the dressing room where Jennifer Thomas from Squim is in here with a piano back here in this, so the fingers can warm up and have a little bit of a smaller space in these smaller rooms. Or
it's a nice peek to the backstage area that I wouldn't think about, like those large dressing rooms that are required and things like that. So that's really cool.
And then we have storage for our conference center in here as well. So we're going to take a look at the stage, and then we're going to take a look at the cafe and the conference center and the art gallery. Now, our art gallery is really taken off, and we've had terrific shows of photographers and printmakers, painters, sculptors. Acoustic difference, if you can hear it in my voice now that I'm standing on the stage looking out at the theater. There's no sound that comes in here from the outside. So this is a very quiet room. And when you're sitting in the theater, you hear you're intended to hear from the stage just perfectly.
Wonderful.
And it's an incredibly deep stage. It's great for dance. It's great for theater. We make it smaller when there's more intimate shows. We also have an orchestra shell, which is 22-foot high orchestra shell that goes behind, obviously, an orchestra or any acoustic work that happens on the stage. So this is Donna Morris's vision. It is the gem and the heart and the beating heart of our facility here.
It's a beautiful theater. I mean, it's just gorgeous visually. And you can tell the difference in the sound. Yeah.
Absolutely. When I walk
Yeah.
back out, we'll go to the lobby. We'll see how many people are bustling through in the lobby. We try to keep the philosophy that I bring in. I told you my curatorial philosophy, but the philosophy that we direct this space with is that this is a community center that should be accessible by the general public as much as possible. So we open up at 8 o'clock every morning with our cafe. The cafe is open from 8 to 3, and many times rolls even later than that. And lots of people come. We have very high-speed free internet. Lots of people come into the lobby and work and have meetings and talk and hang out. And it's a really inspiring space. Here we are. And now we're in the lobby. The sound is different. We're walking through. It's very spacious. There are people out here working on their computers, getting some coffee and getting pastries, sandwiches, soups. We are just a couple 100 yards from the Strait of Juan de Fuca. So there is nothing between us and the water.
While you're walking through there, Steve, would you mind speaking a little bit about how you collaborate with local organizations and schools and artists? Because I remember
Absolutely.
a little bit from by what I heard you speak of before, it seemed like there was a lot of collaboration, and that was
Absolutely.
pretty exciting.
Yes, definitely. We had a group that we transformed this space right between the cafe and the gallery this past Saturday. There are a group of poets in the area, and what they did was they created ekphrastic poetry. Ekphrastic poetry means that poets will take inspiration from a piece of artwork. And so now we're in the gallery, and there's many different fabric pieces up on the wall. This was a collaboration with the Peninsula Fiber Arts Association. This Peninsula Fiber Arts Association has all of this in the huge exhibit. Everything is for sale for retail. Part of our mission is to make sure that artists are supported and that people can live on the peninsula as artists and make a living. So many things are for sale. Sales directly support the artists that live here.
Wonderful.
And the work is beautiful. So we are not only here in this facility, but we also work with artists to go out into schools. So we have a program called Peninsula Performs, and we hire artists to go into elementary schools to high school and spread the joy and the intellectual pursuit and the physical and all the work that's done with theater, dance, visual arts, photography, printmaking, and bringing that for hands-on experiences in the school. And that happens in Sequim, that happens in Joyce, that happens in Port Angeles. And we probably will expand, I think, over time to the entire North Olympic Peninsula with that program.
Wonderful.
That's fantastic.
So are we approaching the venue where they have yoga in the morning?
Yeah. So up here, this is our conference center. And the conference center, you're seeing 1/3 of it, there's a gray wall that is an air wall that can be collapsed. And you're right, we do about quarterly a program called Sunrise Yoga that's done in the morning in this space. And then we also now just started dance. So people are taking dance classes right after yoga. But this is largest glass curtain wall on the North Olympic Peninsula, and the views are incredible. You can look back and see the views of the Olympic range, turning right around to see the Strait of Juan de Fuca, oftentimes seeing Victoria and Mount Baker.
So Steve, could you speak a little bit about your journey of becoming the executive and artistic director?
Sure. My journey to get here was that I grew up in New Hampshire in a small town, very similar in size and scale to Port Angeles, and arts was something that really connected me beyond my small town and to the greater world. And once I got hooked on the arts and really my mind started growing, I just got deeper and deeper into arts and culture and sharing. Throughout the years, from growing up to going to school to working for theater companies, I ended up starting my own theater company and really working to help build out a theater, create new programs and devising programs that help and support community growth. I worked in arts education. I directed a venue at a university, and I did live in the San Francisco Bay Area for a while, lived in New York City, lived in Hartford and New Haven, Connecticut. And during COVID, when arts everywhere was pretty much paused, the opportunity from a national search firm was reaching out to arts professionals. And I started having a conversation. They introduced me to this project, this area, flew me out. And it was a pretty quick realization that the match of my background for starting new ventures, working in arts and strengthening community was a good fit for this place, as it was. I've been through building a new arts organization. This is a new arts organization. So it was a very, very good, I would say, hand in glove with me and the job. And luckily, I also grew up in a place much like this. And the venue is me and the venue just get along like real chums.
Ah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's
So a
great.
lot of the people who listen to this podcast tune in because they're really curious about what life is like on the Olympic Peninsula. So as someone who recently moved here, what would you say to someone who is interested in coming to or moving to the Olympic Peninsula?
For me, the pace of life is perfect. It can sort of be as fast or as slow as you want. And in other places, you can't slow things down. So there's
That's true.
quite a community that embraces new people, new ideas, new energy. And there's also places to just find yourself if you want to break and you want things to be quiet and you want some reflection. But there's no lack of inspiration living here, whether it's the people and the community or the natural surroundings. So for me, being out here, the biggest joy is that there's no limit to the ambition you can reach for. When you see Mount Olympus and Hurricane Ridge, and you're looking out into British Columbia, and you're breathing the air that's so revitalizing here. It's truly a challenge to just come back to me to say, life is really tremendous and it's really inspirational. So how are you going to live your life today?
Nice.
And I will say, I'm very proud that I'm part of a team and part of a community that has built a facility that's a hub for the area. So for me, having Field Arts and Events Hall and knowing that that can be accessed anytime to come and have a cup of coffee, have a sandwich, meet some friends, meet new people, walk through a gallery, sit on the second floor, sip your coffee, and look out over the ocean where orcas have been sighted here. So you can really see, I mean, all the time I see seals in the water, but we've had about 3 or 4 orca sightings since we've been just looking out the windows here.
And I love that it brings the community together. It's open to the community. That's the whole idea of sharing not just the arts, but the center itself. What a legacy for someone to leave and for you to be able to grow. And it sounds like your heart is really in it. So that's really great.
Yeah, there's no other way with something that's got as big of a scale as this in terms of project. I have to basically live my life here to make sure it gets it gets done. And since it doesn't stop, it is 7 days a week.
Well, and it sounds like Field Hall isn't just a place, it's an experience that uplifts the entire Olympic Peninsula. So, Steve, I really want to thank you for sharing your heart and your vision behind it and for doing your walkthrough because I think it gives some of the listeners or viewers just a peek of how incredible the building is. You can't miss it when you drive into downtown Port Townsend. I do know that it's right near the ferry and it's beautiful. It's an absolutely stunning building. So where do we go to find out more about the programs that are happening?
We put everything that we've got coming up on our website, which is fieldhallevents.org, the
Perfect.
easiest place. And then from there, you can go to contact us and join our mailing list. And you can also reach out to me if you are an outside of area listener and you want to, I'm happy to grab a cup of coffee with you or show you some of the things in person that we just took a tour around. So I'm at Steve, Steve, at fieldhallevents.org.
Wonderful.
Sounds easy.
Well, Steve, is there anything else you want to add or say, or anything we didn't ask you about that you think is important to highlight?
I really appreciate Trish bringing up our collaborations with community partners, because it's so often that we support groups come in. We just had Clallam Mosaic here for their annual fundraiser, which our staff put a lot of effort into helping make that a success. The Fungi Festival had a dinner the week before that. Hurricane Ridge Ski Association, Outdoor Recreation Association, is showing a movie soon and doing a fundraiser. And it's just, the ability to support other groups and have a central meeting space that functions so well. I mean, this building was purpose built to serve this community. And I truly believe that all aspects of it, there's so much vitality, and there's a central point where as we build our assets, I think this is a crucial part of infrastructure, benefits visitors and people who live here alike.
Absolutely. Making the Olympic Peninsula even more special. Hey, Steve, thank you so much for joining us. And thanks everybody for watching. And please don't forget to subscribe.
See you next time on Rainshadow Living. Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you.
Well, thank you, Steve. You've done a great job and we really appreciate it. And we'll send you a copy of the recording, or I can just email you when it comes live. It'll be for the December issue. And we usually release it the first Friday of the month.
Awesome.
So be sure and subscribe.
Okay, I will. I absolutely will.
And I will get out to see the building inside soon.
Okay. Yeah, you can come tonight to the ghost stories, or
I saw that and I really wanted to come. Yeah, but I couldn't fit it in my calendar. I think that's a fantastic idea, the ghost stories.
It's fun. And then Saturday is performer named Stephanie Ann Johnson coming with their band, and it's an album release party. So it's great music, really, really great soul, folk, R&B style, contemporary. And then there's a Spanish classical guitar show with a trio coming with I think a drummer and a bass player and a Spanish guitar, like extremely good player. And we're serving up some Spanish tapas as our food.
Perfect.
That's great.
So there are tickets available for all that. Let me know if you'd like to come down, and I'll put a couple of tickets in for you.
Okay, awesome.
Nice.
I noticed too that they have, you rent out, is it the event hall that you have a host wedding venue? Where is that held at? What area?
That's that upstairs second floor. So we just where they do the yoga, and we were talking about yoga.
Okay. With that incredible view.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you were giving us the tour and you were showing, I mean, might be a fundraiser for you. I can't, forgive me, I'm not as connected to the art scene as you, but when I went to visit Austin, Texas, and I went to do you know the performance hall I'm talking about, where I think Willie Nelson funded it?
I can't recall what it's called. Yeah.
But every single day, they have tours of the facility. And then they take you back on stage, and they have the wall where everybody's performed. And that, I'll try to look it up and email it to you, because that theater is apparently very famous, and it's very small, like it just reminded me so much of that theater. And since I couldn't remember the name, I didn't mention it. But literally, they take groups of like 7 to 8 tourists on a tour of the facility, and you can see the posters of all the people who played there and all that stuff. It was a really cool tour. And when I mentioned it to my friends who know music, they were all blown away that I had been to that hall. But it looks very much like this one. It doesn't have a beautiful view. This one. But yeah. But anyway, yeah, the tour reminded me of that. So good job.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Thank you for all your time. We really appreciate you. All right. Okay. Thank you, Steve. Bye-bye.